Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint is, in many ways, an evolved experience over Ghost Recon Wildlands, but does have one very large Achilles heel. As many players have come to expect from Ubisoft, the open world building environmental design is, again, breathtaking in scope. The new fictional Island of Aurora is just as vast as the recreation of Bolivia in Wildlands. There are a huge number of locations to discover and plunder in a range of geographically diverse terrains that are complemented by a day-night cycle and impressive variable weather conditions. From dense woodland to open grassy plains to swamp and marshland through to rocky snow-filled mountains, the landscape creates a core part of the experience. A multitude of locations offer plenty of architectural variations, and it is remarkable how this is done. Even if many of the locations do use similar building assets, the imagination in construction and the attention to detail is even better than that which was in Wildlands. Before progressing further though, it is important to point out that this reviewer's experience of Ghost Recon Breakpoint has been largely as a solo player and on the normal difficulty of play. PvP will be briefly discussed later. One of the major draws to this installment in the franchise is the continuation of the story that began in Operation Kingslayer within Ghost Recon Wildlands, namely the direct conflict with Colonel Cole D. Walker, played by the Punisher himself, John Bernthal, who delivers a gritty, strong performance of someone who has clearly gone over the edge.
To blame on someone else, don't you? Anytime you're in trouble, you just wait for that daddy of yours to swoop on in, huh? Well, let me tell you something. Your daddy, he ain't here.
Players may also recognise the female nomad voice as that of Alex Wilton Reagan, the voice actress for the female Inquisitor in Dragon Age Inquisition. Aside from the main story quest line with some engrossing cutscenes, there are also numerous side and faction quests to discover and complete, scattered all over Aurora, navigating which is made more easy by an abundance of bivouacs, temporary campsites that act not only as fast travel points but also areas to buy and sell in the in-game store, craft new weapons and consumables, and activate one of a variety of hour-long perks. The skill system has been overhauled from Wildlands, giving 4 specific classes as well as a better range of more balanced skill unlocks, which range from skills affecting combat to crafting to reconnaissance. For solo players it will be the Panther class, giving an edge to stealth that will most likely be their primary choice, but the other classes all have their own utility and you can change the class at any time from a bivouac. So now to the Achilles heel mentioned above. Unfortunately, Ghost Recon Breakpoint can only be played with an internet connection and on PS4 with a PS Plus membership, which quite frankly is baffling. There is a central base of operations in which you will see other players. An area that launches most of the main mission objectives has a PvP master and an NPC for the raid. Yet if you are a solo player such as myself, then you will hardly make use of it, as everything that you can do there can be done via bivouacs or via the in-game menu. Just why Ubisoft designed the game in this way is not so apparent, as the Wildlands model worked well enough. The experience of the game, at least from this reviewer's perspective, is a much more looter-orientated Wildlands experience, and the constant looting of increasing item levels works very well. This time around there are no AI companions either, this void then to be filled by utilising co-op with 3 other players. Not that this is in of itself a particular problem, as this reviewer relished traversing the environment as a lone tigress, stealthily ripping enemies apart either from long range or up close and personal. Combat, although having new enemy types to face, is largely as it was in Wildlands, with AI sporadically being a little dense, but for the most part the AI works very well, and the new unmanned drones are vicious adversaries. The difficulty in Breakpoint is dynamic and not fixed to a specific area, which is a major advancement for an open world game, meaning that wherever you go the difficulty level of the combat scales to your item level, which also ensures constantly better loot. The cover system is also as it was in Wildlands, working well with walls and solid objects and not so well when trying to take cover behind irregular objects such as rock formations. As for the player versus player aspect of the game, which centres around the 4 versus 4 Ghost War mode, again bafflingly, this has been changed from a levelling up process to players joining at the level and item level they are in the main game. This results in a complete mismatch for players attempting to play who haven't got to the end game. Here is an example where my character gets in a well-placed shot from stealth, only does slight damage, only to be one-shotted in the retaliatory shot.
Got a bad guy over here.
I got an enemy marked.
Alain Johannes delivers a heart-pounding synth rock soundtrack with metallic, thick melodic themes complemented by more subtle mood-generating ideas. Overall, Ghost Recon Breakpoint is sure to please players who enjoyed Ghost Recon Wildlands, catering for both solo and group players with plenty to keep them occupied, from crafting to looting through to involved missions, all set in an often impressive visage of varying landscapes.